Hello, everyone. Today is Friday, February the 12th, and this is the 32nd edition of Book Fun Friday. Welcome as always, and welcome to our continued study of books that are written by Black authors that feature Black characters for Black History Month. So the book that I'm going to talk about today is a novel that's titled American Street, and it's written by the author Zoboi. I'm so excited to tell you about this book today. So the protagonist of this book is a 17-year-old girl. She's a junior in high school, and her name is Fabiola. Well, Fabiola is Haitian, and she and her mama have decided to travel from Haiti to the U.S. and visit family who live in Detroit. Well, I'm not giving anything away by saying this, but when Fabiola and her mama land in New York, her mom is detained by the INS agents there because they suspect that their trip is not really just a visit. They suspect that her mom has intentions of coming to the U.S. And then not returning to Haiti, but remaining here in America as an undocumented person. Now, Fabiola was born in the U.S., and so she's actually a U.S. citizen, so they don't detain her. But when they take her mom away from her at the airport there, her mom insists that she, Fabiola, get on the connecting flight and continue on the trip and land in Detroit to be with family. And so she doesn't want to do that, but she does. She honors her mom's wishes and she flies on to Detroit. Well, you can imagine how sad she is, how anxious she is, how upset she is now being separated from her mom. And she's kind of confused about, was her mom's intention all along to come here and stay here? Are the INS agents wrong about that? So there's a lot happening there when she lands in Detroit and she's picked up by her cousins. Well, things quickly become even more complicated when she gets to her aunt's home with her cousins and starts spending time with them, and she realizes that her cousins and her aunt aren't the most law-abiding citizens. And she realizes that they're engaging in criminal activities. And so that's another layer of complication on top of everything else. Fabiola thinks that she's going to get to their house and they're going to help her get her mama back. And she finds out that actually they're more concerned with the things that they have going on in their criminal lives. Well, as if things could not get any more complicated, of course they do, when Fabiola is approached on the street one day by a police officer who says to her, "Look, we have been watching this house. We have strong suspicion that there's some things going on in that house that are illegal. We don't have direct evidence of that, but there's pretty strong suspicion of that. And here's the deal. Since you're now living in this house, if you can get some intel, if you can provide some direct evidence, we can help you get back with your mom." So now Fabiola is in a situation where she has to make a choice. Do I turn in my aunt and my cousins for what they're doing and get my mom back? Or do I keep my mouth shut and then who knows when or if I'll ever get to see my mother again? And there comes the rest of the story. So I'm going to share a short passage. This is very early in the book. Fabiola has been picked up at the airport by her cousins and has been delivered to their house. And so this is the first interaction that she's had in the book with her aunt. Now, I mentioned that she's from Haiti, and so she doesn't speak American English. She speaks English that's sort of interspersed with some Creole phrasing and titles and that kind of thing in there. And you'll hear that referred to, like she doesn't call her Aunt Jo, she calls her Ma Tante Jo. So that you'll hear those words pop in there. There's also a reference here to Chantal. Chantal's one of her cousins. And her aunt, of course, is Aunt Jo. Ma tante is what she calls her, Ma tante Jo. So again, this is early in the story where Fabiola has just gotten to their house and is just becoming acquainted now, or reacquainted, I should say, with her aunt, her mom's sister. Ma tante Jo sucks her teeth long and hard. She pulls me toward her and removes Chantal's scarf from around my shoulders. Don't concern yourself with my crazy daughters. Come on, girl, you must be hungry. Oui, ma tante, I say again, but I try to swallow my words. It's habit. She's never said anything to me over the phone about speaking only English, but it's obvious that's what she wants. You're going to have to pay me each time you speak a word of Creole in this house, she says. Yes, ma tante. Aunt Jo, she says. Say it just like that. Let the words slide out and don't be so uptight about it. It's just English, not too complicated. My aunt uses a cane to get from the living room to a narrow archway leading to the kitchen. The cabinets are a nice cherry red color. The refrigerator and stove are a shiny silver, like the moonlight. The green numbers on the stove say it's now 10:30 at night. Ma tante Jo opens a cabinet, pulls out several small bottles of pills, puts them into the pocket of her short dress. The left side of her body droops and her dress slides off her shoulder. Are you feeling okay, Aunt? I ask, making my voice as small as the eye of a needle. She sighs and tries her best to stand upright. Here, they call it a stroke, but your mother would have said that the Gede were pulling me into Guinan. Death owns half of me, Fabiola. Don't say that, ma tante. I mean, Aunt. It's true. Look, I'm sure your mother has taught you some things over the years, right? So here's the fridge, the stove, some pots and pans. Make yourself at home. This is the house your Uncle Philip bought with his hard-earned money. This is the house your cousins were raised in. And now I am so happy to share it with you. She doesn't smile when she says this, and her words are as dry as cassava bread. Those words were meant for my mother, not for me. I pull out a seat from the table, but my aunt doesn't join me. She yawns, scratches her head, rubs her left shoulder, rolls her neck, and disappears into another room right next to the kitchen. I wait for her to come back, but she doesn't. My cousins are laughing and talking among themselves in the living room. Again, there is loud music, but this time it comes from the TV. I don't want to be a burden to them, but I have no idea what to do in this kitchen. Suddenly, I feel so alone in this house. I am surrounded by family, but none of them really knows me or understands what happened to me today. My heart begins to ache for my mother. How could my aunt just leave me here in the kitchen? Is this how you treat family in America? There's no celebration for my arrival, no meal is cooked, no neighbors are invited to welcome me, not even a glass of cool water is on the table for me to drink after such a long trip. If my mother were here, she would quickly start gathering ingredients to make me a meal, to make everyone a meal. I open the fridge to find bottles of soda and ketchup and hot sauce and mayonnaise and bread and eggs and too many plastic containers. In the freezer, there are boxes of pizza and waffles and frozen meat wrapped in plastic. My stomach is so empty. It's touching my back now. I grab a slice of orange cheese wrapped in plastic. I stuff the slice of cheese into my mouth And I can't believe that this is the very first thing I eat in America. It tastes like a mix of glue and chalk and salt. And again, this book is titled American Street, and it's written by the author Evie Zoboi, who was actually born in Haiti herself. And so she draws, I'm sure, a lot of on her background to write this book. Well, y'all, as always, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. I hope you are well, and I hope you continue to stay well. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Friday for another edition of Book Fun Friday, the Black History Month edition, carrying on. Bye!